You ever been thrown out your own house? I'm talking about the house you paid for. The house where your name sits on that mortgage like a gravestone. The house you sacrificed everything to give your child a better life. I was 71 years old, standing on a cold February sidewalk in Detroit with one suitcase and a walker, watching my son, my only son, the boy I raised alone after his mama died, watching him close the door on me. My daughter-in-law screaming from the window, "And don't come back, you leech!" The neighbors stood on their porches. Some looked away. Others pulled out their phones. That's when I made one phone call. Just one. To my lawyer. And that's when everything they thought they owned came crashing down around them like a house of cards in a hurricane. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If you've ever been betrayed by the people you loved most in this world, if you've ever given everything and been treated like nothing, then stay with me. This one's gonna hurt. But it needs to be told. Before we get into it, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. It matters to me. It means I'm not alone in this. My name is Charles Edward Morrison. I'm 72 years old now, but this story takes me back to when I was 69, living in Detroit, Michigan, still wearing my old police badge on a chain around my neck, even though I couldn't walk a beat no more. Let me tell you how love can blind you, how family can become strangers, and how sometimes the people you save are the same ones who'll drown you. This is my confession. This is my truth. 23 years before that cold February sidewalk, I was 46 years old, and my world was whole. My wife, Marianne, was the kind of woman who could walk into a room and make everybody forget they had problems. She had this laugh. God, I can still hear it, like wind chimes on a summer porch. We lived in a small brick house on Dexter Avenue, nothing fancy, but it was ours. The mortgage was paid. The grass was cut. Our son Marcus was 6 years old, running around the backyard pretending to be a superhero. I worked the midnight shift most nights, patrolling the east side, keeping our neighborhood safe. Marianne worked at Detroit Medical Center as a nurse. We tag-teamed parenthood. When I came home at dawn, she'd have coffee ready and Marcus's lunch already packed. We'd sit at that scratched-up kitchen table for 10 minutes, just 10, and she'd tell me about her night, the patients who made her laugh, the ones who broke her heart. "Charles," she'd say, touching my hand, "you make sure you come home to us every night, you hear me?" Always, I'd promise. But I couldn't keep that promise for her. It was a Tuesday in March, one of those Michigan days where winter refuses to let go. Marianne was driving home from a double shift. She was tired. I know she was tired because she texted me, "Can't wait to sleep for a week." She never made it home. A semi-truck driver fell asleep at the wheel, crossed 3 lanes on I-94, hit her head on. They said she didn't suffer. But how do they know? How does anybody know what happens in those last seconds when you realize this is it? I got the call at the station. My partner, Rodriguez, drove me to the hospital. I don't remember the drive. I don't remember walking through those automatic doors. But I remember the doctor, young guy, couldn't have been more than 30, standing in the hallway looking at his shoes. "Mr. Morrison," he said, "I'm so sorry." Marcus was at his grandmother's house. I had to pick him up. Had to walk into that living room and look at my 6-year-old son playing with his action figures and tell him that his mama wasn't coming home. He looked at me with those big brown eyes, Marianne's eyes, and said, "Is mama still at work?" I got down on my knees, held his little shoulders, and I lied. "She had to go somewhere, buddy, somewhere far away. When is she coming back?" That's when I broke. Right there on his grandmother's carpet. I pulled him close and I cried like I'd never cried in my life. He didn't understand. He just patted my back and said, "It's okay, Daddy. Don't be sad." But nothing was okay, and I would be sad for a very, very long time. The funeral was on a Saturday. Gray skies, cold rain, the kind of rain that feels like the world is crying with you. Marcus stood next to me in his little black suit, holding my hand so tight I thought my fingers would break. He kept looking at the casket, confused, waiting for his mama to sit up and tell him this was all a game. She never did. After we buried her, I went home to that empty house on Dexter Avenue. Her coffee mug was still on the counter. Her jacket was still on the hook by the door. The whole place smelled like her perfume. something with vanilla and lavender. I sat on our bed and I realized I didn't know how to do this alone. For weeks, I moved through life like a ghost. I'd wake up, drop Marcus at school, go to work, pick him up, make dinner, put him to bed. Repeat every single day. I stopped talking to friends, stopped going to church, stopped feeling anything except this hollow ache in my chest. One night, about 3 months after Marianne died, I was sitting at the kitchen table staring at bills I couldn't focus on when Marcus came downstairs. It was past midnight. He should have been asleep. "Daddy," he said, rubbing his eyes. I had a bad dream. I pulled him onto my lap. "What was it about?" "I dreamed that you went away too, like Mama." My heart shattered all over again. I held him tight. "I'm not going anywhere, Marcus. You hear me? I'm staying right here with you, forever." He looked up at me with those big eyes. "Promise?" "Promise." That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about me anymore. I had to be strong for him. I had to give him a life worth living. I had to be both parents now. So I made a decision right there in that dark kitchen with my son in my arms. I was going to work harder, save more, make sure Marcus had every opportunity I never had. I was going to sacrifice whatever I needed to sacrifice so that when he grew up, he wouldn't struggle the way I did. He wouldn't have to choose between paying rent and buying groceries. He'd have a foundation, a future. I thought I was being a good father. I thought I was doing the right thing. Turns out, sometimes the right thing can destroy you. But I didn't know that yet. Not that night. That night, I just held my son and whispered promises I thought I could keep. The years that followed Marianne's death weren't easy, but Marcus and I, we found our rhythm. I worked every shift I could get. Overtime, holidays, weekends. Other cops would complain about missing their kids' baseball games or dance recitals. I never complained. Every hour I worked was an hour closer to giving Marcus a better life. His grandmother, Marianne's mother, Dorothy, helped a lot those first few years. She'd pick Marcus up from school, feed him dinner, help with homework. That woman was a saint. She'd lost her daughter, but still found the strength to help me raise her grandson. "Charles," she told me one evening when I came to pick Marcus up, "you're doing good, but don't forget to live too. Marianne wouldn't want you working yourself to death." I nodded, but I didn't really hear her. I was too focused on the plan, the goal, the future. Marcus grew up fast, maybe too fast. By the time he was 12, he was cooking his own breakfast. By 14, he was doing his own laundry. By 16, he was working part-time at a grocery store, saving money for a car. "Dad," he'd say, "you don't have to keep working so hard. I can help." But I didn't want his help. I wanted him to be a kid, to focus on school, to have dreams bigger than just surviving. We lived simple. That house on Dexter Avenue, the mortgage was paid off by the time Marcus was 10. I drove the same beat-up Ford Explorer for 15 years. We ate a lot of spaghetti and chicken. We didn't take vacations. But we were okay. We had each other. Marcus was a good kid, real good, straight as in school. Never got in trouble, respectful, the kind of son that makes other parents jealous. At his high school graduation, I sat in those bleachers crying like a baby when they called his name. He'd gotten a full scholarship to Wayne State University. My boy was going to college. "I'm proud of you, son," I told him that night over pizza at our favorite spot on Woodward Avenue. "Your mama would be proud too." He smiled, that smile that looked just like Marianne's. "I'm going to make you proud, Dad. I promise. I'm going to graduate, get a good job, take care of you when you're old." "You don't need to worry about me," I said. "You just focus on building your own life." But he shook his head. "You've been taking care of me since I was 6. It's my turn eventually." I didn't know then how those words would come back to haunt me. Marcus went to college, studied business administration, graduated top of his class, got a job at a logistics company in Dearborn, making good money, better money than I ever made in my whole career. I was so damn proud. By then I was 66, still working, but my body was starting to complain. 25 years of chasing suspects through alleys and breaking up fights and lifting bodies takes its toll. My knees ached, my back hurt. Some mornings I could barely get out of bed. But I kept working. I had one goal left: help Marcus with a down payment on a house. "Dad, you don't have to do that," he said when I brought it up over dinner one Sunday. We were at his apartment, a decent one-bedroom in Ferndale. He'd made pot roast, Marianne's recipe. It tasted just like hers. I want to, I told him. I've been saving for years. You've got a good job now, you're 23. It's time for you to build equity, not throw money away on rent. But what about you? You should be thinking about retirement. I waved him off. I got my pension coming. I got savings. I'm good. Let me do this for you, Marcus. Please. It would mean everything to me. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he smiled. Okay, Dad. Thank you. Really. Thank you. That's when I should have been happy. That's when I should have felt like I'd accomplished my goal. But there was this small voice in the back of my head, Marianne's voice, I swear, whispering, "Be careful, Charles. Make sure he's ready." I ignored it. 3 months later, Marcus called me at work. He was excited, talking fast. "Dad, I found a house. It's perfect. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, nice yard, good neighborhood in Oak Park. But I need to move fast. The market's crazy. I need to make an offer this week." "How much?" $230,000. I've got 20 saved, but I need 23 for the down payment and closing costs. And he hesitated. "My credit's good, but not great. I need a co-signer for the mortgage." My heart pounded. This was it. This was the moment I'd been working toward for 17 years. "I'll do it," I said without hesitation. "I'll co-sign and I'll give you the $3,000 for closing." "Dad, are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." That was my first mistake. The closing was on a Thursday in September. Beautiful fall day. The leaves were just starting to turn. Marcus and I sat in that real estate office signing paper after paper. His name, my name. Both of us on that mortgage. "Congratulations, gentlemen," the realtor said, handing Marcus the keys. "You're homeowners." We drove to the house together. Small brick bungalow on a quiet street, tree in the front yard, porch with room for chairs. It wasn't much, but it was his. Ours, technically, since my name was on everything, too. "This is it, Dad," Marcus said, standing in the empty living room. "This is where I'm going to build my life." I hugged him tight. "Your mama would love this place." We spent the weekend moving his stuff in. I helped him paint the bedroom, set up his furniture, hang pictures. It felt good. It felt like we'd finally made it. 2 months later, Marcus called me with news. "Dad, I met someone." Her name was Vanessa. They'd met at a friend's barbecue. She worked in marketing, 24 years old. "Pretty," he said. "Smart, funny." "I think she's the one, Dad." I'd never heard him sound like that, so excited, so alive. It reminded me of how I felt when I met Marianne. "When do I get to meet her?" I asked. "How about Sunday? Dinner at my place?" That Sunday, I drove to Oak Park with a bottle of wine and a nervous stomach. I wanted to like her. I wanted her to be good for my son. Vanessa was beautiful. That's the first thing I noticed. Tall, slim, with long braids and a smile that could light up a room. She wore a yellow sundress even though it was October. She shook my hand firmly. "Mr. Morrison, it's so nice to finally meet you. Marcus talks about you all the time." "Call me Charles," I said, "and it's good to meet you too." Dinner was nice. She'd helped Marcus cook. Jerk chicken, rice and peas, plantains. We talked about her job, her family. She was from Southfield, an only child. Parents were divorced. Her dreams. She wanted to start her own marketing firm someday. "I don't want to work for someone else forever," she said. "I want to build something that's mine." I like that. Ambition. Drive. Marcus couldn't take his eyes off her all night. The way he looked at her, it was the same way I used to look at Marianne. After dinner, we sat on the porch. It was cold, but Marcus had a space heater running. "So Charles," Vanessa said, "Marcus told me you co-signed on this house. That was really generous of you." "He's my son," I said simply. "I'd do anything for him." She smiled, but something flickered in her eyes, something I couldn't quite read. Looking back now, I wonder if that was the moment, the first sign. But I was too happy for Marcus to notice. They got engaged 6 months later, Valentine's Day. Marcus called me at midnight, breathless. "Dad, I did it! I proposed! She said yes!" I was genuinely happy for him. "Congratulations, son. When's the wedding?" "We're thinking June. Small ceremony. Nothing fancy. Will you be my best man?" I'd be honored. The wedding was beautiful. Simple ceremony at a small chapel in Detroit. Vanessa wore a white dress that made her look like an angel. Marcus wore his grandfather's suit, the one I'd kept in my closet for 20 years waiting for this moment. Dorothy cried through the whole ceremony. So did I. At the reception, Marcus gave a speech. "I want to thank my dad," he said, looking right at me. After my mom died, he could have given up, but he didn't. He worked himself to the bone to give me a good life. Everything I have, everything I am, is because of him. Dad, I love you, and I promise I'm going to make you proud every single day." Everybody clapped. I wiped my eyes. Vanessa hugged me. "You raised a good man, Charles." "He raised himself," I said. "I just tried not to mess him up too bad." She laughed. "Well, you did good." That was June. By August, Vanessa was pregnant. Marcus called me at work again. "Dad, we're having a baby. You're going to be a grandpa." I felt my eyes well up. Marianne should have been here for this. She should have been the one Marcus called first. "I'm so happy for you both," I managed to say. The baby, a little girl they named Aria, was born in March. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, perfect little fingers, perfect little toes. When Marcus brought her home from the hospital, I drove over with flowers and diapers and every baby book I could find. I held her in my arms and I saw Marianne. Same eyes, same little nose. It was like getting a piece of her back. "She's beautiful," I whispered. "Just like her grandpa," Marcus joked. Vanessa was sitting on the couch exhausted. "Charles, you're welcome to visit whenever you want. She's your granddaughter too." "I appreciate that," I said. But even then, even in that perfect moment, something felt off. The way Vanessa looked at me, like she was studying me, calculating something. I shook it off. I was being paranoid. She was just a new mother, tired and hormonal. Everything was fine. Everything was going to be fine. That's what I told myself. But 3 weeks later, my whole world fell apart again. It was a Wednesday morning in April. I remember because it was garbage day, and I just dragged the bins to the curb. I was at the station finishing up paperwork from an arrest the night before. Some kid trying to boost a car on Gratiot Avenue. Routine stuff. I was tired. My shift had ended at 6 a.m., but I stayed late to finish the reports. My Sergeant Miller came into the break room around 8. "Morrison, you got a sec?" "Yeah, what's up?" He looked uncomfortable. "We're doing mandatory training today, active shooter scenarios. Lot of running, physical stuff. You feeling up to it?" I should have said no. My back had been killing me for weeks. My knees felt like broken glass every time I climbed stairs, but I was stubborn. "I'm good," I said. The training was in an abandoned school building on the east side. 6 hours of drills, running through hallways, clearing rooms, climbing stairs. My body screamed at me to stop, but I pushed through. I'd been doing this job for 28 years. I wasn't about to tap out now. We were on the 3rd floor. I was leading my team through a simulated hallway when I heard a crash behind me. Rodriguez was on the ground. He tripped over some debris. "You okay?" I turned to help him up. That's when I stepped wrong. My foot landed on something, a loose floor panel maybe, and my ankle twisted. I felt something in my knee pop. Sharp, blinding pain shot up my leg. I tried to catch myself, reach for the wall, but my hand slipped. I fell hard, hit my head on the corner of a door frame. The world went black for a second. When I came to, I was on my back, staring at fluorescent lights. Blood was running down my face. My leg wouldn't move. "Morrison!" Miller was there, his face blurry. "Don't move. We're calling an ambulance." "I'm fine," I tried to say, but my words came out slurred. I wasn't fine. At the hospital, they told me I had a severe concussion, torn ACL in my right knee, damaged meniscus, and a fractured ankle. I'd need surgery, physical therapy, months of recovery. "Can I go back to work?" I asked the doctor. She looked at my chart, then at me. "Mr. Morrison, you're 69 years old. You've been on the force for almost 3 decades. Your body's telling you something. Maybe it's time to consider retirement." "I don't want to retire." "It's not about what you want. Your knee may never fully heal. And another head injury like this one could be catastrophic. I'm sorry, but I have to recommend you for medical disability leave." Those words hit me harder than the fall. Disability leave meant living on 70% of my salary. It meant not being able to work overtime. It meant my savings, the money I'd planned to use for retirement, would disappear fast. It meant I was done, finished, put out to pasture at 69. Marcus came to the hospital that evening. He looked scared. "Dad, Jesus, they said you hit your head pretty bad." "I'm okay," I lied. "Just a little banged up." "What did the doctor say?" I couldn't look at him. "They're putting me on disability. I can't work anymore." He sat down in the chair next to my bed. Okay, that's fine. You've worked long enough. You deserve to rest." Marcus, I can't afford my house on disability, the property taxes alone. Then come live with us. I looked at him. What? Come live with us. We've got that extra bedroom. Arya's still in the nursery. You can stay with us until you figure things out. Marcus, I can't. Yes, you can. You're my dad. You helped me buy that house. Now let me help you. I wanted to cry. I wanted to hug him, but I was too proud, too stubborn. I'll think about it, I said. 2 weeks later, after I got out of the hospital, I tried living alone. I really did, but everything was harder. I couldn't climb the stairs to my bedroom. I couldn't drive because of the pain medication. I couldn't cook because standing for more than 10 minutes made my knee swell up like a balloon. Dorothy came by every day to check on me. She'd bring food, help me shower, sit with me while I did physical therapy exercises. Charles, she said one afternoon, you're being stubborn. Marcus is right. Go stay with them for a while. I don't want to be a burden. You're not a burden. You're family. So I called Marcus. I'll take you up on that offer, I said, just for a few months until I get back on my feet. Take as long as you need, Dad. This is your home, too. I moved in on a Saturday in June. Hot day, humid. Marcus helped me load my stuff into his truck. Clothes, some books, my police badge and Marianne's picture. That was it. Everything else stayed in the house on Dexter Avenue. I told myself I'd be back in a few months. I never went back. When we pulled up to the house in Oak Park, Vanessa was standing on the porch holding Arya. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Welcome, Charles, she said. Let me show you your room. It was the guest bedroom at the back of the house. Small, barely fit a bed and a dresser. The window looked out at the neighbor's fence. This is perfect, I said, even though it felt like a closet compared to my house. Dinner's at 6, Vanessa said. We eat together as a family. Sounds good. That first night, I sat at their dinner table feeling like a stranger. Marcus asked about my day. I told him about physical therapy. Vanessa mostly stayed quiet, feeding Arya, checking her phone. After dinner, I offered to help clean up. No, Vanessa said quickly. You should rest. Doctor's orders, right? I went to my room, lay on the bed, stared at the ceiling. And for the first time since Marianne died, I felt completely, utterly alone. This was supposed to be temporary. This was supposed to be easy. But as I listened to Marcus and Vanessa talking in the living room, their voices low, tense, too quiet for me to hear the words, I realized something. I wasn't a guest in this house. I was an intruder. And the woman who smiled at me with cold eyes, she was about to make sure I knew it. The first few weeks weren't terrible. They were just awkward. Marcus would leave for work at 7 in the morning. Vanessa worked from home most days, her laptop set up at the dining room table, Arya in a playpen nearby. I'd stay in my room, trying not to be in the way. I'd come out for coffee around 9, say good morning, then disappear again. Physical therapy was 3 times a week. Marcus would drive me there before work when he could. When he couldn't, I'd take an Uber. Each session cost $40 that my disability check barely covered. The therapist, a young woman named Kim, would push my knee through exercises that made me want to scream. You're doing great, Mr. Morrison, she'd say while I sweated through the pain. Doesn't feel great? I'd grunt. That's how you know it's working. But it wasn't working. Not really. My knee was healing slower than expected. The doctor said it might never be 100% again. Some days I needed a cane to walk. Other days I needed a walker. I was 70 years old and falling apart. At home, I tried to stay useful. I'd wake up early, make coffee for everyone. I'd fold laundry when Vanessa left it in the dryer. I'd take out the trash. Anything to feel like I was earning my keep. But Vanessa noticed everything. Charles, you don't have to do that, she'd say when she caught me washing dishes. But her tone wasn't grateful. It was tight, controlled, like she was biting back other words. One morning, about a month after I moved in, I was feeding Arya in her high chair. Vanessa had stepped outside to take a work call. Arya was being fussy, refusing her oatmeal. I was making airplane noises, trying to get her to eat. Here comes the airplane! Zom! Open up for Grandpa! She giggled and opened her mouth. Finally, that's when Vanessa came back in. What are you doing? She grabbed the spoon from my hand. I told you I'd feed her. I was just helping. I don't need your help. She picked up Arya, held her close. She's my daughter. I'll take care of her. I stood there, stunned. Vanessa, I didn't mean, I know what you meant. She turned away, bouncing Aria on her hip. But this is my house, my family. I need you to respect that. My house, my family. Not our house. Not Marcus's house, hers. That night, I told Marcus what happened. We were in the garage. He was changing the oil in his car. I sat on an overturned bucket, my knee throbbing. Son, I think maybe I should start looking for my own place. Dad, no. You just got here. Vanessa's just stressed. New baby, working from home, it's a lot. She didn't mean anything by it. Marcus, she told me this is her house. She was probably just having a bad day. He wiped his hands on a rag, wouldn't look at me. Look, I'll talk to her. It'll be fine. But it wasn't fine. Things got worse. Vanessa started making little comments. She'd say them casually like they were jokes, but there was poison underneath. Must be nice to not have to work anymore. Retirement looks good on you, Charles, just sitting around all day. I wish I could just relax like you do. I wasn't relaxing. I was in constant pain. I was going to physical therapy. I was taking medication that made me dizzy and nauseous. I was watching my savings disappear every month, trying to maintain a house I couldn't even live in. But I didn't say any of that. I just smiled and nodded and tried to stay out of her way. One Thursday in July, I remember the date because it was Marianne's birthday. I was in the kitchen making myself lunch. Turkey sandwich, glass of water. Simple. Vanessa came in, phone pressed to her ear, clearly in the middle of a work call. She looked at me, pointed at the sandwich, mouthed, "Is that the last of the turkey?" I nodded. She rolled her eyes, walked away, but I heard her on the phone in the next room. "Sorry about that. Just some family stuff. You know how it is when you have people living with you who don't contribute." My hands shook. I put down the sandwich. Couldn't eat it. I didn't contribute. I'd given Marcus the down payment for this house. My name was on the mortgage, and I was giving them $200 a month from my disability check to help with the water bill. $200 I couldn't afford, but gave anyway because I didn't want to be a burden. And she thought I didn't contribute? That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in that small room staring at Marianne's picture on the nightstand. "What would you do?" I whispered to her. "What would you tell me to do?" But she didn't answer. She never did. The next morning, Friday, I woke up to voices in the kitchen. Loud voices. Marcus and Vanessa arguing. "He's my father, Vanessa. And this is my house. I can't work with him shuffling around all day. I can't think. I can't breathe. He's always just there. Where else is he supposed to be? He's recovering from surgery. Then he should recover somewhere else. There are nursing homes, assisted living places. He's got his pension. He can afford it." My heart stopped. Nursing home. She wanted to put me in a nursing home. I heard Marcus's voice, quieter now. "We're not doing that. He stays." "For how long, Marcus? How long is this temporary arrangement going to last? It's been 2 months. 2 months of tiptoeing around him, of him eating our food, using our water, taking up space. He's giving us money for the water bill. $200. You know how much water costs? The bill last month was $150. He's barely covering that. What about electricity? Heat? Food? The space he's taking up? That room could be Aria's playroom." "Vanessa, no, Marcus, I'm done. I've been patient, I've been kind, but I'm your wife. Aria is your daughter. We come first, not him." Silence. "Please, Marcus," I thought. "Please stand up for me. Please tell her she's wrong." "Let me talk to him," Marcus finally said. "We'll figure something out." My chest felt tight. My son, the boy I raised alone, the boy I sacrificed everything for, didn't defend me. He said, "We'll figure something out." Like I was a problem that needed solving. I heard their bedroom door close. The house went quiet. I sat on the edge of my bed staring at my hands. These hands had changed Marcus's diapers, fed him, held him when he cried, worked overtime for years to give him a better life, signed mortgage papers so he could own a home. And now I was an inconvenience. A leech. She'd called me that day on the porch. I made a decision then, a small one, but it felt like taking back some power. I wasn't giving them any more money. If Vanessa thought I was a leech, fine, but I wasn't going to bleed myself dry trying to prove otherwise. That afternoon, the water bill came in the mail. Marcus brought it to me. "Hey, Dad, the water bill's due next week. Can you—" "No," I said. He blinked. "What?" "I'm not paying it this month." "Dad, we had an agreement. I heard what your wife said this morning." I looked him right in the eyes. She thinks I don't contribute. She thinks I'm a burden. So fine, I won't contribute anymore. Dad, she didn't mean. Yes, she did, and you let her say it. His face fell. I'm sorry. I should have defended you more. But Dad, she's stressed. The baby's not sleeping. Work is crazy. She just needs time to adjust. How much time, Marcus? How much time before I'm welcome in my own son's house? The house I helped you buy. This isn't about the house. Yes, it is. My voice rose. I couldn't help it. My name is on that mortgage. I gave you the down payment, and now your wife wants to throw me in a nursing home like I'm garbage. Nobody's throwing you anywhere. Then why didn't you tell her no? Why didn't you tell her I'm staying? He opened his mouth, closed it, looked away. That's when I knew. He agreed with her. Maybe not out loud, maybe not consciously, but somewhere deep down, my son thought I was in the way too. Keep your $200, Marcus finally said. We'll manage. He left, closed the door quietly, like he was afraid I'd break if he slammed it. I sat there in the silence, my chest tight, my eyes burning. This was my family, the only family I had left, and they didn't want me. But here's what they didn't know. Here's what they forgot. I wasn't just some old man they could toss aside. I was the reason they had this house. And if they wanted to play this game, I could play too. August came with heat waves that made the house feel like an oven. The air conditioning ran constantly. I could hear Vanessa complaining about the electric bill. I stayed in my room most days. I'd eat breakfast before anyone woke up, make myself scarce during the day, and only come out for dinner if Marcus explicitly invited me. Some days he forgot. Those nights I'd eat crackers and peanut butter in my room, washing it down with water from the bathroom tap. I was becoming invisible in a house I helped purchase. My disability checks kept coming. $873 every 2 weeks. After I paid the property taxes on my Dexter Avenue house, $250 a month, and my medication copays, I had maybe $400 left for everything else. Phone bill, incidentals, the occasional Uber to physical therapy. I stopped going to therapy as often. Couldn't afford it. My knee got worse. Some mornings I couldn't put weight on it at all. Dad, you need to keep up with therapy, Marcus said one evening when he noticed me limping worse than usual. Can't afford it, son. I can help. No. I said it firmer than I meant to. You've got your own family to worry about. He looked like he wanted to argue, but Vanessa called from the kitchen. Marcus, can you help me with Aria? He went. Always went when she called. I started spending more time on the front porch. There was an old wooden chair out there, paint peeling, but it held my weight. I'd sit there in the mornings with my coffee, watching the neighborhood wake up. Kids walking to school, people heading to work, life moving forward while mine stood still. The neighbor across the street, an older black woman named Mrs. Patterson, would wave sometimes. One morning she crossed the street, came up to the porch. You're Marcus's father, aren't you? Yes, ma'am. Charles Morrison. Geneva Patterson. I've been living here 32 years. She had kind eyes, deep wrinkles, gray hair pulled back in a bun. Haven't seen you around much. I try to stay out of the way. She studied me for a moment. That's a terrible way to live in your own family's house. I didn't know what to say to that. You ever need anything, she said. I'm right across the street. Number 47. I make a mean pot of greens every Sunday. I appreciate that, Mrs. Patterson. She patted my shoulder and went back home. It was the kindest thing anyone had said to me in weeks. Inside the house, things got colder. Vanessa stopped even pretending to be polite. She wouldn't look at me during dinner, wouldn't respond when I said good morning. When I walked into a room, she'd walk out. Marcus pretended not to notice, or maybe he genuinely didn't. He was working longer hours, coming home exhausted. Some nights he'd go straight to bed without even eating. You working on something big? I asked him one night. Yeah, we're launching a new logistics platform. It's been crazy. You taking care of yourself? He gave me a tired smile. You sound like Mom. My heart twisted. She'd be proud of you, you know. Everything you've accomplished. Think she'd be proud of how I'm treating you? The question hung in the air between us. Heavy, honest. Marcus, I know I should be standing up more. I know Vanessa's been difficult. But Dad, marriage is complicated. I have to choose my battles. And I'm not worth fighting for. He looked away. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I mean, give it time. She'll come around. Once things settle down with work and the baby. Son, it's been 3 months. How much more time you need? He didn't answer. That was answer enough. September brought cooler weather. Arya was 6 months old now, starting to crawl. I'd watch her sometimes from my doorway, this perfect little girl discovering the world. She'd see me and smile, reach her little hands toward me. Grandpa, she'd babble. My heart would nearly explode. But Vanessa would swoop in, pick her up, carry her away, like I was contagious, like my presence alone could harm her child. One afternoon, I was in the living room, rare occurrence, watching the news. Arya crawled over to me, pulled herself up on my leg. I picked her up gently, careful of my knee. "Hey there, pretty girl," I whispered. "How's my grandbaby?" She grabbed my nose, laughed that baby laugh that sounds like pure joy. Vanessa appeared in the doorway. "Put her down." "I'm just put her down." I set Arya on the floor. She started crying, reaching for me. Vanessa picked her up, glared at me. "I don't remember giving you permission to hold my daughter." "I'm her grandfather." "You're a guest in this house who's overstayed his welcome." She walked away, leaving me sitting there, Arya's cries echoing through the house. I went to my room, closed the door, sat on the bed. This wasn't living, this was existing, barely. I thought about Dorothy, Marianne's mother. She'd passed away 2 years ago, heart attack. Quick and painless, they said. I envied that. At least she didn't suffer. At least she didn't live long enough to see me reduced to this, a ghost haunting a house I helped buy, unwanted by the only family I had left. That night, I heard Marcus and Vanessa arguing again. Their bedroom was next to mine. The walls were thin. He held Arya without asking. "He's her grandfather, Vanessa. He doesn't need permission." "In my house, he does." "It's not just your house, isn't it? Who maintains it? Who decorates it? Who makes it a home? You're barely here, Marcus. You work 60 hours a week. This is my house, my domain, and I won't have him undermining me." "He's not undermining." "He is. Just by being here, I can't relax in my own home. I can't walk around in my pajamas. I can't have friends over. Everything revolves around tiptoeing around your father." "Then what do you want me to do?" Silence. Then, quietly, "I want him gone. Vanessa, I mean it, Marcus. Either he goes or what? Or I take Arya and we go." My blood ran cold. She was threatening to leave, to take his daughter, unless I disappeared. "You don't mean that," Marcus said. "Try me." More silence. Then I heard their door open, close. Marcus's footsteps in the hallway. He stopped outside my door. I held my breath, wondering if he'd knock, if he'd come in and talk to me, tell me what was happening. He didn't. He went downstairs. I heard the TV turn on. I lay awake all night, staring at the ceiling, feeling my world crumble around me. The next morning would change everything, but I didn't know that yet. All I knew was that I couldn't keep living like this. Something had to break. Someone had to break. Turned out it would be me, but not in the way they expected. October 3rd, a Wednesday. I remember because it was trash day and I'd forgotten to take the bins to the curb the night before. I woke up at 6:30, later than usual. My knee had kept me up most of the night, throbbing, aching, refusing to let me find peace. I'd finally fallen asleep around 4 and now I was paying for it. I could hear movement in the kitchen, smell coffee brewing, bacon cooking. My stomach growled. I hadn't eaten much the day before. Crackers, an apple, some cheese. I got dressed slowly, my knees stiff and angry. Used my walker to get down the hallway. The smell of food got stronger. Pancakes, bacon, eggs, a real breakfast. When I entered the kitchen, Vanessa was at the stove, Marcus was at the table reading something on his phone, and Arya was in her high chair playing with pieces of banana. "Morning," I said quietly. Marcus looked up. "Morning, Dad." Vanessa didn't turn around. I moved to the coffee pot, poured myself a cup. My hands shook slightly. The medication did that sometimes. "There's breakfast if you want some," Marcus said. I looked at the stove. Pancakes stacked on a plate, bacon draining on paper towels, scrambled eggs in a pan. "Thanks, son." I made myself a plate, 2 pancakes, 3 pieces of bacon, some eggs. It felt like Christmas morning, real food, warm, made with care. I sat at the table across from Marcus, took a bite of pancake. It was delicious. "These are great," I said to Vanessa. She didn't respond. Marcus's phone rang. He looked at the screen, frowned. "I gotta take this work thing." He stepped out onto the back porch. It was just me and Vanessa in the kitchen, and Arya babbling to herself. I ate quietly, trying to make myself small. invisible. Then Vanessa spoke. You're late. I looked up. What? Breakfast is at 6:30. It's almost 7. You're late. I didn't know there was a schedule. There's always been a schedule. You just don't pay attention. I set down my fork. Vanessa, I'm sorry if you're always sorry. Sorry you're here. Sorry you're in the way. Sorry you exist. She turned around, spatula in hand, eyes cold. But sorry doesn't change anything, does it? My chest tightened. I'm trying my best. Your best isn't good enough. The words hit like a physical blow. Arya started fussing. Vanessa picked her up, held her close, glared at me over her daughter's head. Finish your food and stay in your room today. I have clients calling. I need the house quiet. She walked out, left me sitting there with a plate of food I could no longer taste. Marcus came back in. What was that about? Nothing, I said. Dad, it's nothing, Marcus. Don't worry about it. But it wasn't nothing. It was everything. I went to my room, sat on the bed, stared at Marianne's picture. I can't do this anymore, I told her. I can't keep living like this. That afternoon, while Marcus was at work and Vanessa was on a conference call, I made a phone call of my own to a lawyer. His name was David Chen. We'd gone to high school together, stayed in touch over the years. He'd handled my will, Marianne's estate, small legal things. Charles, good to hear from you. What's going on? David, I need to ask you something about property law. Shoot. If my name is on a mortgage as a co-signer and I provided the down payment, what rights do I have to that property? Silence on the other end. Then, Charles, what's happening? I told him. All of it. Moving in with Marcus, Vanessa's treatment, the threats, the invisible life I was living. When I finished, David let out a long breath. Charles, I'm sorry you're going through this. That's not right. But to answer your question, yes, as a co-signer on the mortgage, you have legal rights to the property. And if you can prove you provided the down payment, you could potentially force a sale or claim ownership stake. Even though Marcus lives there? Even though. Now, it would be messy. It would probably destroy your relationship with your son. But legally, you have options. I thanked him, hung up, sat there thinking, did I really want to do this? Did I want to be the kind of father who takes his son's house? But was I really taking it, or was I just reclaiming what was always partly mine? I didn't know. My head hurt. My heart hurt worse. That night at dinner, another silent, tense affair, I decided something had to give. Tomorrow morning, I talked to Marcus. Really talk to him. Lay it all out. Tell him I couldn't live like this anymore. Either things changed or I'd have to leave. And if I left, I'd have to protect myself, which meant I didn't want to think about what it meant. I went to bed that night with a plan. But the universe had other plans. Thursday morning, October 4th. I woke up at 6, determined. Today was the day I'd stand up for myself. Today I'd have that conversation with Marcus, make him understand. I got dressed carefully, shaved, put on a clean shirt. This was important. I needed to look like a man who deserved respect, not a burden. I walked to the kitchen at exactly 6:30. Vanessa was there, making breakfast again. Marcus was getting ready for work. I could hear the shower running. Good morning, I said, making my voice steady. Vanessa glanced at me. You're on time today. I'd like to talk to Marcus before he leaves for work. Is that okay? No, I blinked. Excuse me? He has an important meeting at 8. He doesn't have time for whatever you need to talk about. Vanessa, this is important. So is his job, the job that pays for this house, the job that feeds his family. She cracked eggs into a pan. You can talk to him tonight. I need to talk to him now. She turned to face me, spatula raised like a weapon. You don't get to make demands here, Charles. This is my house, my schedule, my rules. If I say you wait, you wait. Something inside me cracked. 30 years of being a police officer, 23 years of raising Marcus alone, 17 years of sacrificing everything to give him a better life. And now this woman, this person who'd known my son for barely 3 years, was telling me I couldn't talk to my own child. This is not just your house, I said quietly. What did you say? This is not just your house. Each word came out harder, firmer. My name is on that mortgage. My money paid the down payment. This is my house too. Her eyes went wide, then narrow. Get out of my kitchen. No. Get out or I'll make you get out. You and what army? We stood there, staring at each other. Two people in a standoff over scrambled eggs. That's when Marcus walked in, hair wet from the shower, tie in his hand. What's going on? Your father is being disrespectful, Vanessa said immediately. I'm trying to have a conversation, I countered. Marcus looked between us. Dad, maybe now's not the best time. There's never a best time, Marcus. I've been waiting for the right time for months. There is no right time. Dad, please. No, I need to say this. I can't keep living like this. I can't keep being treated like garbage in a house I helped buy. I can't keep. Nobody asked you to help, Vanessa exploded. Nobody begged you to co-sign. You did that because you wanted to feel needed. You wanted to control Marcus, and now you're using it as leverage to stay here even though nobody wants you. The kitchen went silent. Even Arya, sensing the tension, stopped babbling. Vanessa, that's enough, Marcus said quietly. No, Marcus, it's not enough. I'm done. I'm done tiptoeing around this. I'm done pretending. She turned to me, eyes blazing. You're not welcome here, Charles. You never were. I tried to be nice. I tried to be patient, but you're like a leech sucking the life out of this family. You make everything harder, everything worse, and I'm done. Vanessa, Marcus started. No. She cut him off. He needs to hear this. He needs to understand. This is our family. Yours, mine, and Arya's. He's not part of it. He's just leftover from your old life, and I'm sick of leftovers. I felt something inside me die. Not crack, not break. Die. This woman, this stranger, had just erased 23 years of fatherhood with one word. Leftover. Pack your things, Vanessa said. I want you out by tonight. Vanessa, we need to talk about this. Marcus tried again. No, we don't. Either he goes or Arya and I go. Choose. Marcus looked at me, at his wife, at his daughter. I saw the exact moment he made his choice. Dad, he said softly, maybe it would be better if... Don't, I said. Don't finish that sentence, son. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But maybe you could find an apartment or one of those senior communities. Somewhere more suitable. Suitable. I was no longer suitable for my own son's life. I looked at Marcus, really looked at him, at this man I'd raised, this man who looked just like Marianne, this man who was supposed to be better than me. And I realized he was just a man, flawed, weak, human, just like me. Okay, I said, okay, I'll go. I'll pack my things. I'll be out by tonight. Relief flooded Marcus's face. Thank you, Dad. This is for the best. You'll see. I nodded, turned to leave, then stopped. Marcus, yeah, Dad? I'll need you to buy me out of the house. Silence. What? Vanessa said. I turned back, looked her right in the eyes. My name is on the mortgage. I paid the down payment. If you want me gone, you'll need to buy out my share. We can have it appraised, calculate my equity, and you can pay me what I'm owed. Her face went pale. You can't be serious. I'm very serious. Marcus, tell him he can't do this. But Marcus was looking at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Fear? Respect? Understanding? Dad, we don't have that kind of money. Then I guess we have a problem. You're going to make us homeless? Vanessa shrieked. Over your pride? You'd put your own granddaughter on the street? I'm not putting anyone anywhere. I'm simply reclaiming what's mine, what I earned, what I gave up everything for. I looked at Marcus. I'll call David Chin today. He'll start the paperwork. Dad, please. You made your choice, son. Now I'm making mine. I walked to my room, closed the door, sat on the bed. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing. But for the first time in months, I felt like myself again. Not small, not invisible, not leftover. Myself. I picked up my phone, dialed David's number. David, it's Charles. Remember that conversation we had yesterday? I need you to start the process. All of it. Are you sure? I looked at Marianne's picture, thought about all the years I'd sacrificed, all the pain I'd endured, all the disrespect I'd swallowed. I'm sure. Okay, I'll draw up the papers. Give me a week. Thank you. I hung up, started packing my things. By tonight, I'd be gone, but not forgotten, never forgotten. Chapter 9. When the house of cards fell, I called Mrs. Patterson across the street. Mrs. Patterson, this is Charles Morrison from number 52. We met on the porch a while back. Of course, honey. What can I do for you? I need a favor. A big one. Can I stay with you for a few days while I figure things out? There was a pause. What happened? I told her, briefly, clinically, like I was filing a police report. When I finished, she said, pack your things. I'll be over in 10 minutes. True to her word, she showed up with her grandson, a tall young man named Derek, and they helped me load my belongings into her car. 2 suitcases, 3 boxes, Marianne's picture, my police badge. That was it. 70 years of life fit into a trunk. Marcus and Vanessa watched from the doorway. Neither came to help. Neither said goodbye. As we pulled away, I looked back at the house, that small brick bungalow I'd helped purchase. The house that was supposed to be Marcus's future. Now it might be his downfall. Mrs. Patterson's house smelled like cinnamon and old books. She set me up in her guest room, bigger than the one at Marcus's, with a window that looked out at a garden. "You stay as long as you need," she said. "No rent, no expectations, just peace. I can pay. Hush, I've been alone since my husband died. Company's nice." That night, I slept better than I had in months. The next morning, Friday hour, David called. "Charles, I've drawn up the paperwork. Given the situation, you have 3 options. 1, force a sale of the property and split the proceeds based on equity. 2, buy them out if you can afford it. 3, they buy you out. What's my equity worth? Based on the down payment you provided, the mortgage payments they've been making, and the current market value? About $85,000. I nearly dropped the phone. 85,000? The house has appreciated significantly. That area is hot right now. Your down payment alone, adjusted for the market increase, is worth about 40,000. Add in your cosigner status and the legal argument that this was partially a gift that's been rescinded? Yeah, 85,000 is conservative. Can they afford that? Not without selling or refinancing. And given Marcus's debt-to-income ratio with the baby and everything, he probably can't refinance and remove you from the mortgage without a significant down payment they don't have. So option 1, force a sale. Charles, are you sure? This will devastate them. They devastated me first. Okay, I'll file the paperwork Monday. They'll get served by Wednesday. I hung up, sat in Mrs. Patterson's garden, watched birds at the feeder. Was I doing the right thing, or was I just a bitter old man taking revenge? I didn't know anymore. On Monday, Marcus called. "Dad, we need to talk." "I'm listening. Can we meet? Coffee? Lunch?" "Why?" "Because you're my father and I miss you." I laughed. It came out bitter. "You miss me, or you heard from Vanessa that you might lose your house?" Silence. "David's filing the paperwork today," I said. "You'll be served soon." "Dad, please, let's talk before this gets legal. There has to be another way." There was another way, Marcus. It was called treating me with respect, with dignity, like family. But that ship sailed. I know we messed up. You think? "Dad, I'm sorry. Vanessa's sorry. We both are. We let things get out of hand. But we can fix this. You can move back in. We'll do better. I promise." "You promised before. This time will be different." "Why? Because now you're afraid of losing something? Because now there are consequences?" "No, because I realized what I almost lost. You. My father, the man who raised me, who sacrificed everything for me. I was wrong, so wrong. Please, Dad, give us another chance." I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. Put Vanessa on the phone. What? If she's so sorry, let me hear it from her. Rustling, muffled voices. Then Vanessa's voice, tight and controlled. "Charles." "Vanessa, I'm sorry for how I treated you, for the things I said. I was stressed and overwhelmed, and I took it out on you. That was wrong. Do you mean that? Or are you just scared of being homeless?" Long pause. "Both," she said finally. "I'm scared, but I'm also genuinely sorry. I was cruel. You didn't deserve that." It was the most honest thing she'd ever said to me. "I'll think about it," I said. "Thank you." I hung up. Mrs. Patterson was in the doorway. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." "Can I give you some advice, honey? Please." Revenge feels good in the moment, but it leaves a bitter taste that lasts forever. Forgiveness? That's hard. Takes courage, but it sets you free. She paused. "Only you know what you need. But ask yourself, 5 years from now, what decision will you be proud of?" I thought about that all night. On Wednesday, the process server went to Marcus's house. I got the call from David. "Papers delivered. They have 30 days to respond or vacate." "Okay." "You sound uncertain." "I am uncertain." "Want my advice?" "Sleep on it. You can always withdraw the petition, but you can't undo words spoken in anger." That evening, Marcus showed up at Mrs. Patterson's door. He looked terrible, eyes red, face drawn, like he hadn't slept in days. "Dad, please, can we talk? Just talk?" Mrs. Patterson nodded at me. "Use the living room. I'll make tea." Marcus and I sat on her couch, the same couch where she probably sat with her husband for 40 years before he died. "I don't know how to fix this," Marcus said. "I don't know how to make it right. But Dad, I'm begging you, don't take the house. Not because we don't deserve it. We probably do. But because Aria, she's 6 months old. She doesn't deserve this. You're using your daughter as a shield. I'm using her as a reason. There's a difference. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. You're right about everything. I was weak. I chose wrong. I let Vanessa treat you terribly and I didn't stop it. I'm ashamed. I'm so ashamed. Then why did you do it? Because I was scared. Scared she'd leave. Scared I'd lose her. Scared I'd end up alone like... He stopped. Like me? I finished. He nodded, crying now. I didn't want to be alone. So you chose to make me alone instead. Yes, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. We sat in silence. Mrs. Patterson brought tea, left quietly. What do you want from me, Marcus? Forgiveness, another chance, to prove I can be the son you raised me to be. And if I give you that chance and you fail again, then you take the house. No argument, no lawyer. I'll sign it over myself. I looked at my son, really looked at him, saw the little boy who used to climb into my bed after nightmares, the teenager who cried on my shoulder when his first girlfriend dumped him, the young man who promised to make me proud. I saw Marianne in his eyes, and I made my decision. I'll withdraw the petition, I said. Marcus's head snapped up. What? On 3 conditions. Anything. 1, I don't move back in. I'm staying with Mrs. Patterson for now. When I'm ready, I'll find my own place. But I want weekly dinners. Every Sunday, just you, me, and Aria. Vanessa can join if she wants, but it's not required. Done. 2, we refinance the house. Remove my name from the mortgage. I'll take $20,000 for the down payment I provided. No more, no less. You and Vanessa handle the rest. Marcus swallowed hard. That'll be tight, but okay, we can make it work. 3, you go to therapy. Both of you. Marriage counseling. Figure out why this happened so it never happens again. Okay. And Marcus? Yeah, Dad? You only get 1 chance. You understand? 1, if you fail me again, I'm gone. For good. No lawyers, no petitions, just gone. You'll never hear from me again. His face crumpled. I understand. Good. We sat there in silence. Then Marcus moved closer, wrapped his arms around me, and cried on my shoulder like he used to when he was 6. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I held him, felt my own tears coming. I know, son. I know. 3 months later, it's January now. Cold, snowy, beautiful. I'm still living with Mrs. Patterson, paying rent despite her protests. We've become good friends. She teaches me how to cook her famous greens. I help her with yard work and repairs. We watch Jeopardy every night and argue about the answers. Marcus refinanced the house, took a second job on weekends to afford it, paid me the $20,000. I used it to pay off my Dexter Avenue house completely. Now I'm renting it out for income. Might even move back there someday. Every Sunday, without fail, Marcus comes over with Aria. Sometimes Vanessa comes too. She's trying. It's awkward, but she apologizes through actions if not words. She asks about my week, includes me in conversations. Last week, she even asked if I wanted to come to Aria's first birthday party. I said yes. Marcus and Vanessa are in counseling. It's helping. He tells me about it sometimes, the breakthroughs, the hard conversations, the slow process of rebuilding trust. We're learning to put each other first without forgetting everyone else, he said last Sunday. That's good, I told him. Are you happy, Dad? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I'm living in someone else's guest room. I'm 72 years old with a bum knee and a fixed income. My son almost threw me away. My daughter-in-law still looks at me like I'm an inconvenience. But I have my dignity back, my self-respect, my voice. Yeah, I said, I'm getting there. Aria crawled over, pulled herself up on my leg. Grandpa! I picked her up, kissed her forehead. Hey, pretty girl. This time, Vanessa didn't stop me. That's how I know things are changing. Slowly, painfully, but changing. If you've stayed with me through this whole story, thank you. Thank you for listening, for understanding, for being here when I felt most alone. I learned something through all this. Peace don't come cheap. It costs pride. It costs certainty. Sometimes it costs relationships. But it's worth it, because living small, living invisible, that's not living at all. Stand up for yourself, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And if you're out there dealing with something similar, family that's forgot your worth, people who take you for granted, know this: you deserve better. You deserve respect. You deserve peace. Don't wait until you're 72 to claim it. If this story moved you, drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me your story. We're all in this together. My name is Charles Edward Morrison. I'm 72 years old. I survived losing my wife. I survived raising my son alone. I survived being thrown out of my own house. And I'll survive whatever comes next, because that's what we do. We survive, we fight, we find peace, even when it costs everything, especially then.